We are talking to one of my faves. He's a nuclear engineer, member of the NCRI. Shaheen Gabati is calling in from Francais this morning about Iran's ambassador getting the dingo boot he did. Good morning, Shaheen.
Good morning to you as well, and I hope all your good listeners had a happy and healthy Labor Day holiday and are looking forward to a very good fall season with the schools have opened up, and hopefully it will be very prosperous for all of them.
I think it will be. Under this president, I think it's nothing but up. So, Iran's ambassador got kicked out of Australia. He must have done something pretty bad.
Well, actually, the regime was caught complicit in burning down in the synagogue and another social place in Australia, and that came as no surprise to us because, as we have spoken before in this program, thanks for your invitations, this regime is nothing but destruction, misery, terrorism, bigotry, export of extremism. And you see now their tentacles are reaching as far away as Australia, which is the other side of the world. So basically, it's quite evident, established, no doubt, that they are not only a menace but a threat to the whole world community.
They are.
And I think this very much validates our observations.
And the people who are denying this, I don't know how they can, because there's just so much evidence.
No, people are not denying it, but obviously they always, how it goes. They always say, you have to have, court-proof evidence and, don't jump to the conclusion. And a lot of times, unfortunately, this geopolitical consideration and the fact that Iran is an important country, it's a big nation, it's rather very resourceful country, overwhelms people. And when particularly you are clinging to an ill-fated policy, it's very difficult to break away with it. But Australians this time saw the reality as it is, and they expelled the ambassador. And also they said they will have a legislation that will proscribe their main arm for terrorism called the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps as a terrorist entity. So the world is waking up rather slowly, but eventually, because as you said very correctly, facts are so overwhelming.
They are. And arson and terrorism, all these things. I mean, terrorism is terrorism. People need to come to the reality that Iran is the leading supporter of terrorism around the globe, not just the Houthis, but also Hezbollah, also Hamas. They are with all of these people who hate pretty much the whole rest of the world for not being like them. And the Iranian people suffer under this regime, but their ambassadors who are spread out throughout the world, we don't have to put up with them. We can throw them out.
Absolutely. No, and that's the whole point. Obviously, the U.S. doesn't have any relationship with them for the last 40-plus years, which is good. But Europeans still do, and a lot of Western countries still do. Canada does not, but Australia had until exactly 8-9 days ago. So you're absolutely correct. They have to wake up and see what it is. And actually, we did a study in the National Council of Resistance of Iran a few years ago. And guess what? In every major European capital, the Iranian regime has carried out terrorist operations. And again, guess what? Their embassies and the diplomatic posts was a key element of that terrorist operation, as providing logistics, cover, gathering intelligence, providing even gateway places for the terrorists, and so on and so forth. We saw that in France, we saw that in England, we saw that in the Netherlands, we saw this in Austria, in all the Germany, Belgium. Basically, you are talking about a state that uses all of its, what is available, all of its good offices, all of its diplomatic posts for carrying out terrorist operations or other ominous objectives.
So why does anybody let them in? What's wrong with these other countries? I mean, I know this finally Australia woke up and kicked them out, but why are they anywhere if they can't get along with anybody?
That's the whole question. No, but, some of these countries are obviously looking for making a deal here and there, and, they always consider trade important, which obviously, given the dismal state of the Iranian regime's economy, Obviously, that doesn't go very far these days. So you're absolutely correct. It's time to see the regime for what it is, to adopt the correct policy, and to understand that even from a cost-benefit perspective, the cost overwhelms the benefits by a long shot. And that's the message. Actually, to that effect, Reagan, on this coming Saturday, 2 days from now, tens of thousands of Iranians, literally tens of thousands of them from all over Europe, are coming to Brussels, which is like the capital of Europe these days, to basically make this point clear, that the regime's end is coming, be on the side of the Iranian people. Nobody's advocating for foreign war. Nobody's advocating for boots on the ground, but at the same time, do not make these sort of concessions that you just referred to. Mm-hmm. Side with the resistance, side with what its president-elect, Madam Mariam Rajavi, has called for, which is the third option. Regime change, but by the Iranian people and their resistance. And actually, this Saturday, this force will be very much coming out of Brussels. And as I said, people are coming from all over Europe to have a very, very a strong voice.
Yeah, serious conversation finally. Yeah. So,
exactly.
Shaheen, I have you on from time to time. I have Alireza on from time to time, Jafar Zadeh, and you all are part of the NCRI who are fighting to get rid of this regime so that Iran can finally be the great nation that it once was and could be again if you could get the Ayatollah and the mullahs out of the way. But this ambassador who was in Australia was basically serving as a spy and was looking for ways to terrorize the Australian people. So people are saying it's an unprecedented step. I'm like, unprecedented? They had to do it.
To totally agree with you more. I mean, I totally could not agree with you more. These adjectives are totally uncalled for. One should say, instead of unprecedented, the adjective here would be much delayed, much, procrastinated. Much procrastinated ejection of the regime's ambassador. This is the right adjective, not unprecedented. This whole concept that you have to deal with them as a normal state is totally ill-fated. It's totally wrong-headed, and it has been disastrous for Iranians, for the region, and for Westerners. Look, let me make one more case, which I think you might find it very shocking and very relevant. Back in 2018, the NCRI was holding its annual event in suburbs of Paris. There were tens of thousands of people, upwards to 100,000 people, expats and their international supporters, 600 politicians and, former top American officials, former top military top brass military commanders, you name it, I claim it. And they were all in Paris in support of the resistance. An Iranian diplomat who was based in Austria, Vienna, literally tried to bomb that place. And it was not just planning. He put the bomb actually in his briefcase, flew on a commercial airline with a bomb in his briefcase with, 100 plus women and children on board. Obviously, none of them knew that this quote-unquote diplomat who was a terrorist is carrying a bomb in his personal briefcase. He flew to Vienna. He drove all the way to another European country, gave the bomb to two would-be bombers to blow up this event. God forbid, it was foiled in the last hours by the vigilance of, European, security services. Mm-hmm. But if that operation was not averted, this would have been the bloodiest terror attack in the history of Europe, with hundreds upwards to thousands of deaths and wounded and maimed, because that place was indoor place packed with children and women, as I said, up to 100,000 people. And if a bomb explodes that, you can imagine what kind of damage it will inflict.
So why are we not? I only have 2 minutes left, Shaheen. I wish I had a longer time. Next time I'm going to book you on a longer segment. But in 2 minutes, explain to me why these ambassadors are anywhere in the world when Iran has clearly, the leadership has clearly stated that they think we are beneath them and that they wish us nothing more than death.
No, this is because of a very, very ill-fated policy which I call appeasement par excellence. The Europeans basically kowtowed to the Ayatollahs, hoping to make a deal on Iranian oil here and there, or Iranian gas here and there. But this is totally dangerous. But I think the time has come, as you said, to totally put this sort of a policy aside and realize that this is only leading to catastrophe after catastrophe, and side with the Iranian people and the resistance. And the fact is that the resistance is growing. there's more momentum, more and more young people joining. So this is all based on realities in Iran. And as I said, on Saturday, this is where the message would be. Tens of thousands of Iranians in Brussels actually echoing this and saying they are out in favor of the third wave of Madame Mariam Rajavi. No foreign war, no appeasement, a regime change by the Iranian people and their organized resistance. Yeah. So, yes, this is part and parcel of that process.
Okay, last question. I've got 45 seconds, so we've got to be quick. Why do these ambassadors go over there and terrorize? What happens in their lives? Are their families threatened? Why do they do it?
For some people do it for money. Some people do it for stature. Some people are intelligence, and terrorist people to begin with. But I think the issue is why, as you said, they are allowed, and why these diplomatic relations are allowed to continue. If they have no embassy to go to, no matter what position you give them, they have no place to go.
So we just need to shut them down. It's that simple. Where do people go to learn more about the NCRI, Shaheen?
They go to the website NCR, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, R like Rose, -Iran.org. NCR-Iran.org. And the hashtag for the Brussels rally is Brussels Free Iran Rally. Brussels Free Iran Rally. If you go on the Twitter or X, whatever, you see a lot of posts in the last few days by the people who are going, and a lot of international supporters who are basically extending support for the cause.
I wish everybody the best, and I hope that Iran takes back her glory, stops doing business with Russia and other people who are full of hate in this world, and hopefully we can get things on the right track. Shaheen Gobadi, nuclear engineer, he's a member of the NCRI. Make sure you go to that site and find out what's happening in Brussels and support them. Thank you, Shaheen.
Thank you so much, and again, allow me to wish all of your good listeners very happy and prosperous days and weeks in autumn all the way to the Christmas.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Same to you. Bye-bye, sir.